Hey, today we're going to discuss about pipelines and superscalars in the operating system. Now the way operating system executes an instruction is by fetching it first, and then it decodes it, and then it executes it. And then there is an execution unit which executes the instruction. Now this diagram is particularly to the pipeline itself. This might not be the case if in the absence of a pipeline, let's say, it could only have an execution unit. Now, the concept of the pipeline is that since we have to fetch and decode instruction first before its execution, why shouldn't we fetch and decode instructions upfront for the execution unit? So once it's done with one instruction which is currently being executed, once the execution unit is done with it, the other instruction, the next instruction, would be basically ready for it to consume. It wouldn't have to fetch and then decode it, and in the meanwhile it wouldn't waste this time for fetching and decode. So that's basically the concept, that we form a pipeline for the execution unit so that once it's done with the already executing instruction, it could just take the decoded instruction and just execute it. Meanwhile, one instruction could be just fetched and then it could be decoded. So it sort of forms a pipeline, sort of forms a queue, and that's the concept of the pipeline. The superscalars are more or less the same in a way that there could be multiple execution units. It's the same concept as the same one, as since we can have waiting one, like we can have some sort of a wait in there once the execution unit is done with its execution of an instruction, and then it has to fetch and decode an instruction. Why don't we just form a queue there and pre-fetch and pre-decode the instructions for the execution unit? So the concept with the superscalar is that we just need to have multiple execution units. One execution unit could be dealing with floating point numbers, what could be dealing with the integers, and they could be doing it simultaneously, because we now have multiple execution units. So that's the concept of pipelines and superscalars in a real quick manner. Let me know if you have any questions, and if you like the video, please subscribe as well. Thanks.